All right, I'd like to welcome you to the studio today. I'm making sure that this is live, it's working. Yeah, I'm working on a large painting of Watercolor Batik Japanese rice paper of Kyoto, Japan. And you can see here, this total thing is about 24 by 38. It's all been covered in wax. And the wax is hardened up, so I'll let it sit overnight. This stuff usually takes about an hour or so to get hardened up again. You really got to wait for it to get hard before you can crinkle and crackle it. And then the next step is to crinkle and crackle it to get that wonderful batik look in it. And let me just shut my door here. So for something this size though, I don't want to just crinkle randomly, so I'm going to kind of control this a little bit. And I'm going to be using scroll mount brushes in color, then I'm going to grind the color into the wax in certain places. So I'm just going to kind of go selectively with this first. I think I'm going to go with an orange blue too. Just going to get this, my palette here. These are all my colors. I'm going to be using a lot of the orange and the blue because that's pretty much what this painting is, complementary colors. So I kind of stick to that color palette. I'll just go back and forth between warm versus cool here. Some cobalt blue, brilliant orange, Parano orange, whatever the heck I have down there right now. All right, and what I have to do first is I'm just going to come into here. I'm just going to start crinkling it a little bit. This is the scariest part. People think you're going to start destroying the painting, and you can. You're not. You're too crazy with it, but I just got to get some cracks in it. So the idea is you just crinkle it in some places, not too much. Can kind of control this. And spots down here aren't going to matter as much because that's the dark area. But if you do it up the top a lot, you got to continue to do it a little bit at the bottom, I think, otherwise it looks weird. All right, so just some cracks. And then the idea is you just take a bunch of color and water. Ooh, that was too much orange I just grabbed. Just come in here. Start spattering some color and water down here. And this is going to go into the cracks a little bit more than you think. And the more water you use, the more it is going to go into the cracks. So I'll start getting some down here, and sometimes it just takes a while for it to sink in too. Now, what I've learned is that you can't control this. You can grind it into the cracks. Makes a mess, but it probably sounds terrible too. And the wetter it is, the more it goes into the cracks. You just can't, again, see it till a little bit later. Get some more color. Grab some more blue now. Blue and orange. If anybody's got questions, I can't see the board right now because I'm just doing this on my mobile. So I can answer stuff later though if you post something to the forum. All right, getting some of this color into here. Not too much, hopefully. It's kind of a mess in your hands though because you're using wax and color, and the wax gets on your skin, so sometimes the color doesn't want to come out very easily in your hand. It kind of stays there for a few days. All right, let's get some cracks right there. I'll go a little across here. And just throw some more color and water. Get some color down in here. And get some cracked areas into there a little bit. Gotta do some more in this section here. So a lot of color, a lot of water. And we'll start to see if this really does sink in. If it feels like you're starting to tear the paper, you are. So just kind of be careful though, don't do it too much. And turn this direction. Get over to here a little bit easier. Just a bunch of water, color back into here. Now, in those dark areas, sometimes what I like to do is I like to lift off the color. So I just pretty much just throw in straight water down here. And what that'll do in a few minutes is going to take off some of the color. We'll do the newspapers. Let's go back around here again. Let's turn this around. Get some cracks up into here a little bit. Stuff into here. This takes a little while. You can kind of control this though. And just adding more color movement to the piece. You can definitely see it soaking in there quite a bit. A lot of water, a lot of color. Doing more water right here in color, because what it'll probably do is it'll probably lift off a little bit of that black. Let's do a little bit in here, just pure water. Some more color here. I'll just get into here, get it done. Color over here, right into those sections. And all right, it's pretty good. Now I think that's too dark up there, so I'm going to take it off a little bit with the paper towel, and hopefully more has gone into there than I think it has. Okay, and I think that's pretty good. Okay, so the next thing I have to do now is, once we're done with this, I gotta clean up my hands. And, because yeah, you're always gonna have a little bit of the wax still sitting there in your hands. The color does wanna kind of stay on for a few days too. I made a mess of myself, And the next step is now to do the newspaper sandwich. Because now we've got to get the wax off the paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this aside for a quick second here without letting it tear too much. And go down to here with newspaper. And try to get newspaper, doesn't have a lot of color on it, especially for the first couple layers. If you don't have something that doesn't have much color, so see, this is perfect right here, this sheet. So I'm gonna put that down here first, because sometimes the color can't transfer through, and that's what we're not looking to do, is to get more color on top of these paintings. So try to grab newspapers. Don't have a lot of color if I can, but you know, it's getting harder and harder to find newspapers. That's all color, damn it. All right, and then what I do, a couple layers, is come into here, put down some white piece of paper, because I don't want anything to transfer. And with the first layer, this is essential, because sometimes the color print, the newspaper does end up going to the picture. All right, and get the picture back as I'm standing on it. Okay. All right, now if I think something's too dark, it looks like the black is going into the cracks more than I wanted it to, you do have a little bit of time here. Kind of take your paper towel, dab off some of the darkness. And then I've got to do the reverse here. What now I'm going to do is I'm going to put the white paper down here first. And this is the fun part. So white paper first, and then newspaper again. Just do one sheet to start with. And iron. You want to get your iron going? All right. And I get it on the hot setting, cotton linen. Give that a few minutes to heat up here. And we're almost ready to start taking off all this wax here. All right, it doesn't take very long to heat up, so. Is anybody on right now watching? I don't know. All right, now we're taking the wax off. This is the part that kind of starts to smell bad. You can really see in this corner, wax is soaking through the paper right away. Okay, see that's going through? Now we usually start with 2 sheets of paper to start with. And once I get past the first layer, I can just go to 1 sheet. All right. See that all what wax is coming off now, melting. I don't think I have enough room in my trash can for all this stuff. That's what sucks. So let's use up this sheet now. I use the whole sheet of paper, newspaper, because you go through the trouble of getting them, might as well make it worth your effort, I guess. Occasionally I have some students who still get newspapers. That makes it really easy. So you can't recycle that. There's a bunch of wax in that. And you just gotta be careful. You don't want to tear the paper too much. I just keep ironing and ironing. This is what takes a while. And once the first sheet gets all gunked up, see that's all coming off? Okay, that's kind of sticking there. Okay, I'll use this section, get wax onto there, and we're going to go over to here now, use up this sheet of paper. Okay. It's all sticking there because it's all not melted yet. All right. Get that on, wax off. Just don't tear. That's the key to this. Things aren't coming off. Use the iron. All right, never tear. Feels like it's tearing the paper. It's because it is tearing the paper. Don't do that. That's bad. Okay, use the rest of that sheet. Can't recycle that, so I'm just gonna throw that away. Come over here. Let's use up this guy. And you can see this, ooh, it's tearing something. What the heck was that? This does shake your table quite a bit, so just be careful if you got water close to here. All right, I tore through my piece of paper, my white paper, but not the actual painting itself, which is good. All right, get more of that wax melted off. We can use the whole sheet. And coming up into here, let's get this part iron now.
Well, that was my style. Okay, so,
All right, this is the fun part. Because then I can see where the color went to the cracks. Ooh, looks like I tore the paper there too. I'm not sure I did that. It happens. Don't throw a fit about it. I mean, you can, but it doesn't do you any good. This is all stuck. All right. All right. So we can take that off. We can see here. Remember, things don't want to come off, just don't rip. I think that's one of the hardest things, is everybody wants to start tearing things. You get excited, I get it. But bad things will happen. Okay. So I still have some of the paper down here. That will disappear in a minute, don't worry about that. All right, you can start to see the picture emerge a little bit. So now after the first layer of wax is pretty much, you got most of the stuff off. You don't have to worry about white paper as much. Because there's not, most of the wax is off. Color isn't going to transfer from the newsprint. But, you know, better safe than sorry, so just using this sheet. And you can see there's still a lot of wax on this. And the longer you do this, the more wax you get off of it. Now you would pretty much have to do this until there's no wax that's coming off. Otherwise, you're going to have a heck of a time trying to get it mounted onto something. Go down here. There's still a bunch in this corner. And I have a lot of space in my bag, so I'm trying to not crumble things up, make it a little bit easier for me to get everything out of here today. This does kind of smell bad. All right. Okay, you can tell there's still a lot of wax in that area there. Yeah, so this stuff that's stuck to the paper here will flick off eventually. Don't try to tear it right now. Go back and use this section over here. Yeah, this just takes a while. All right. And at some point in time, probably right now, what I have to do is I have to change the whole thing out here. So now this is the hard part because sometimes it gets stuck in certain places and you don't want to tear. Because all that wax is underneath the paper also. You have to be real careful with this part. Turn this sideways here too, so. You can lift this part up first, because that was our original white paper. Just don't rip. All right. It's not behaving there. Let's actually grab another piece of paper, newsprint paper, and go back into this section here. I still see a bunch of wax up at the corner there. Yeah, there's a lot right there in that section. That's why it's not coming off very easily. This can take a while. Now let's get back up into here. This does ruin your freezer paper too, so you're going to have to change that out afterwards. Bunch on the side here, I can see that. So we'll just go move this over here a little bit. All right. How much fun is this, huh? Ooh, what the heck happened? There was a big piece. Missing a big section right there. Right? Look how that go. This is why I try to keep my newspaper together. Because I don't know where that section is. gonna have to find that. Okay. It's not there. Let's see if we can get this off again. Remember, you just don't want to rip. So get some. Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate very easily. Ooh, I don't have. Okay, that's coming off there. It's coming off there. Does not want to come off on this corner though, because that's where I forgot to put some newspaper. Now, grab some more sheets. I ripped off a whole section. I don't know where that went. It's in the paper, newspaper somewhere. Okay, so just get over here and get off as much of it as we can. Yeah, there's a lot coming up there still. Okay, pull this over here. Okay, put that over there. I'm gonna have to find that piece, or this section down here. I mean, if I had to crop it off and finish, it's not a big deal either. But usually it's in the newspaper somewhere. Okay, get more wax off. Now hopefully we can get this off this piece. Okay. Cool. Now flip it over. And we gotta get these guys. All right, let's put some more stuff down here. Gotta remember, just never tear or rip. I spent weeks working on this painting. I'd be very, very sad. All right, so now go over to this section. And we just got to get everything off of here now. All right. I'm going to soak up more wax with this now. That's funny. Juneau newspaper is almost 100% recyclable. Not this one. Not anymore. All right. All right, that's not too much stuff on it. Let's see if we can get this stuff off now. All right, it peels off just fine. That's good. Remember, we're not ripping. Never rip. All right. This should peel off. Okay. That peeled off, okay. Let's see if we can get this stuff off. This is how you can tell when you're starting to get to, you're getting a lot of the wax off. Put that back on here. Okay, it came right off. Let's grab some more newspaper and just take it off. This takes a long time. And I'm keeping my newspaper separate. The new ones I'm taking off because I have to find that corner piece that I ripped a little bit earlier. All right. Let's see if this will come off now. Go over this again sometimes very carefully. Okay. Ooh, I do have a hole in there. Not sure how I did that. That part's not coming off. So, yeah, we're dumped. All right, let's get that off first. Okay, let's go back over here. So this is the Alcoa News. I had no idea where that was. Where in the world was that when I was teaching a workshop here? All right, that's pretty much trash. All right, I'm just still trying to get this bottom layer off. Drop it stuff. Okay. So that layer should come off here pretty soon. Okay, let's get this off. Okay, let's go back with more newspaper there. And so for people just joined us, working on watercolor batiks on Japanese rice paper. And I'm trying to get all the paper off of it and all the wax, removal of the wax. This is the hardest part, I think. Just takes a lot of patience, which I don't have a lot of. Okay. All right, getting more of the paper, rice, the wax off rice paper. This is what it's going to look like. This is the paint that's underneath it, and this is some of the paper that's stuck to it. And I see all the cracks where I cracked and ran color into the cracks. That comes when you do the batik process at the very end. Now we're just taking all the wax off of this. If you missed out earlier, that's when I crackled it and put the color into the cracks. This is the fun part. I say that facetiously, of course. I don't enjoy this part, but all right, that came right off. So we're starting to get down to the wax. It came pretty much right off. This is the sign you're getting down to the, not the end here, but we're getting closer. All right, and let's use that section. Soak up more wax here. I use the whole paper because you're gonna ruin the piece of paper anyways. All right. You can start to see this unfurl, coming together here. This is backwards right now because I'm working on the back, getting everything off of this. And ooh, that was a piece of, what was that? It looked like that was a piece of paper that came off with it, but it wasn't, I don't think. Because there's a big hole in there. I don't think so. Okay, let's hit this again with the wax, or the iron, I'm sorry. And let's get more of the wax off up here. Just ruin this whole piece of paper. Can't recycle this, obviously. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to flip this. This is the right way up here. And this is what right now, as of right now, the whole thing looks like with the wax come off. See all the cracks, the color that went into the wax and when I crackled it? And I got a couple areas in here. I'm missing a big section of it over here. Got to find that. I don't know what happened to that. I tore it somehow in the process. And that happens. You get tears and things. So now it's just a process of you just got to be patient and sit here and just get all this wax off. Because otherwise, when you try to mount them, you're going to have a heck of a time with them sticking onto the paper, whatever you try to mount it on. So this is boring for these big ones. Just sit here and do this for 50 minutes if I have to. Let me show you what this is going to probably look like. I'll grab another. Give me a second. All right. So here is what I'm going to be working on. Another one coming up here. I've got one drawn out of Edinburgh and the Rock of Cashel. But this is with no edits at all right now on this painting. And, you know, I've got to get the paper off here because that's actually stuck to some wax that's still on the paper. I've got to fix this corner. This corner, I don't know what happened to it. I tore it somewhere. It's somewhere in that pile of newspapers down here. And I just have to find it, and I'll have to just reattach it, or I'll just get another piece of paper and then kind of glue this and just reconstruct it, which isn't too hard, or just crop it, which is probably what I just end up doing. But this is the Watercolor Boutique process. I teach this in workshops and classes all over the country. If you're interested in learning about how to do this, you know, get a hold of me, send me a message, because I'd love to teach, you know, classes wherever you're living. So thank you so much for watching this. And I'm going to see myself here. My hair is a mess. I got my shirt on too. So thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. You guys all take care.